Most wild animals around the world are known for eating a certain type of food. Most snakes feed on small mammals, amphibians and reptiles, and most bovids are grazers or browsers. There are some weird and wonderful animals on this planet that don't obey these rules, and they feed on foods that you wouldn't expect them to. In today's video, I will be focusing on these oddballs, and we will be taking a look at some of the most interesting animals that fit into this category. To find our first animal, we can head over to the coastal waters of the Americas, as we will be taking a look at the bonnethead. The bonnethead, also known as the bonnet shark, is a small shark in the hammerhead shark genus, and it's a rather distinctive species. It's the only shark to display sexual dimorphism in the morphology of its head, as adult females have a broadly rounded head, whereas males have more of a point or a bulge. These sharks are mostly found in warmer, shallow waters, and they will sometimes enter brackish environments. You have no need to worry if you find yourself sharing the waters with a bonnethead, as not only are they not very aggressive, but they're also not very large. Most individuals only reach around 90 centimeters in length, but some giants can reach up to 1.5 meters in length. In the wild, they can often be found in groups of 5 to 15 individuals, but schools of hundreds or even thousands have been reported. This schooling behaviour is common with other members in the hammerhead genus, but what makes the bonnethead unique is its diet. Most large sharks around the world feed on other animals, whether it be marine mammals and fish or krill. The bonnethead does follow this trend to a certain extent, as it will feed on crustaceans and small fish, but the bonnethead is also the only omnivorous shark, as it will also feed on large amounts of seagrass. In some cases, seagrass is made up to 62.1% of the gut content in some sharks, and this feeding behaviour is not seen in other shark species. There are a few theories as to why they feed in this way, as some experts believe that they consume the seagrass to protect their stomachs against the blue crabs. The blue crab is one of the bonnethead's main prey items, and they have spiny carapaces which could easily cause damage to the shark's innards. The seagrass could help by covering the spines, and of course the bonnethead can also digest the seagrass, which is in good supply across most of its range. Their teeth are shaped to dispatch and dismember fish and crustaceans, and they have a few other adaptations that allow them to hunt these prey animals. Like other hammerheads, it has sensory organs along its head, and this allows it to detect the electrical signals of its prey. This shows us that it's better adapted to hunt prey than to eat plants, but it takes advantage of this food source, and it may help them to deal with its difficult prey. So even though the bonnethead isn't the largest or deadliest shark, it is one of the most interesting sharks in the world, and it's one of the only sharks with a balanced diet. Thankfully, we humans can choose to eat pretty much anything we want, and in my opinion, one of the tastiest and healthiest options is today's sponsor, HelloFresh. With summer sadly behind us and busy days ahead, we are all craving wholesome meals that can save us time and money. HelloFresh has something for everyone. Each box is fully customizable to fit your preferences and includes pre-portioned ingredients, so you only pay for what you need. Personally, I don't eat meat, and I was pleasantly surprised to see the wide variety of vegan and veggie meals. Believe it or not, editing and researching these videos takes an age, and I don't always have time to get fresh ingredients and plan my meals. HelloFresh has over 30 calorie-smart and protein-smart recipes each week, and each meal is packed with fresh ingredients, and everything arrives pre-portioned and right to your doorstep. Click the link in the description or use my code and get 10 free meals plus free breakfast for life. One breakfast item per box while subscription is active if you're in the US. Outside the US, the local discount will apply. Arnie is very happy with the leftover vegetables he receives, and by subscribing to HelloFresh you'll be directly supporting the channel, and I can continue to make more videos like this one. To help out, use my link or code to subscribe to America's #1 meal kit, and I thank you for supporting the channel. There are over 400 different species of parrot alive today, and each species has its own unique coloration and strange behaviours. Parrots are extremely intelligent birds, and because of this they have been known to adapt well to urban environments, and in some places around the world they have started to take over as an invasive species. There are non-native parrots in a few locations across North America such as California and Florida, and there are even non-native parakeets in colder climates such as Great Britain and Ireland. They do tend to be incredibly long-lived birds, with some species such as the pink cockatoo reaching the grand old age of 80, and some individual parrots are claimed to have lived to over 100 years old. Most parrot species are herbivorous or omnivorous, with nuts, fruits and leaves making up the majority of their diet. There are a few parrots that prefer a slightly meatier diet, and the most famous example can be found in the beautiful country of New Zealand. The kea is endemic to the alpine regions of the South Island of New Zealand, and at a first glance it doesn't exactly look like a ruthless predator. It has a beautiful olive green colour to its feathers, and when in flight it flashes a splash of orange under its wings. Beautiful colours such as this are common among parrots, and the ground-nesting kakapo and closely related kaka have a similar coloration. The kea doesn't seem to possess the equipment to be a top predator in New Zealand, as it doesn't have sharp talons and it seems to have a beak that's better suited to eating nuts and seeds. The kea does feed on more than 40 different plant species, but it also feeds on other birds, insects, and even mammals. For most of the time that the kea's been around, it hasn't lived alongside mammals, as mammals have only arrived on New Zealand relatively recently. New Zealand does have a few native bat species, but apart from that, all of the mammals in New Zealand have been introduced. Because the kea is such an intelligent bird, it has learnt to live alongside and even prey on mammals, but they do fall victim to them too. Invasive rats and possums will eat their eggs and their chicks, and they have even been killed in large numbers by humans in the past. One of the main reasons behind this large-scale persecution was because of their predatory behaviour, as it's believed that they killed sheep and lambs. The controversy about whether the kea preys on sheep is complicated, because the kea will feed on dead sheep, and for a long period there was no evidence of keas killing live sheep. Some farmers claim that they kill up to 500 of their sheep each year, but they don't always cause their deaths directly. The sheep farming industry is big business in New Zealand, with the country having the highest density of sheep per unit area in the world. According to 2007 figures, there were 39 million sheep in New Zealand, and this means that there were more than 10 sheep per human. Today, the number of sheep has dropped, but the sheep farming industry is still a major part of the economy. Kea will attack live sheep by landing on them and digging their sharp beaks into their flesh, and it's common for them to do this under the cover of night. This attack doesn't usually kill the sheep, but they can die from their wound becoming infected, and the keas are known to spook them and they will jump off of cliffs in fear. There are some rather gruesome images of keas feeding on live sheep, but as they aren't for squeamish individuals or people eating their dinner, I won't be showing them in this video. Because the kea has such a playful, fun-loving demeanour, you'd never guess that they would behave in this way, but like other parrots, they make the most out of their situation. Strangely, not all keas will feed on sheep, and there are a few theories as to how they started associating sheep with food. When sheep die, they attract a large number of insects, and the kea could have been attracted to the insects and then they could have started feeding on the sheep too. Because kea are often found in groups, they can easily learn from one another, and once one bird started feeding on live sheep, other birds would soon mimic this behaviour. Other experts believe that they could have fed on extinct birds such as moas in a similar way, but as these birds are long gone, we may never know. This behaviour makes the kea one of the most distinctive parrots in the world, and this example has to be one of the strangest predator-prey relationships on this planet. Spiders haunt the nightmares of many people around the world, but these animals would choose to avoid us if they had the option. Even though some films and media would have you believe that spiders are incredibly dangerous creatures, deaths from spider bites are extremely rare. It's believed that on average only 7 people are killed by spiders worldwide each year, and this is around half as many people that are killed by sharks each year. Spiders will only bite if they feel threatened or if they've been stood on, and in a lot of cases they will dry bite, meaning that they will bite without injecting venom. Spiders do reach some pretty impressive sizes, with some of the largest being the bird-eating spiders, but these creatures are often misunderstood. I think it's safe to say that most people would not like this spider as a visitor in their room, but once again they shy away from humans and they just want to be left alone. Despite their name, they rarely target birds, and instead they mostly feed on arthropods, worms, and amphibians. As well as the true giants such as the bird eaters, there are also plenty of interesting tiny spiders too. We will be taking a look at one of these creatures today, and to find it we can head over to Central America. Bagheera kiplingi is a small species of jumping spider, and it has a striking greenish-brown coloration. Surprisingly, this isn't the most interesting thing about this spider, as it's arguably the most distinctive jumping spider in the world. Jumping spiders get their name as they jump directly onto their prey, which is mostly flies and other small insects. But this strange little spider is mostly herbivorous. Around 90% of its diet is made up of fat-rich nubs called Beltian bodies, and these nubs form at the leaf tips of certain plants. They will also feed on nectar from time to time, and they will sometimes steal ant larvae from passing ants. Even though they will sometimes consume other animals, they are mostly herbivorous, and the spider's tissues have been found to exhibit isotopic signatures typical of herbivorous animals, implying that most of their food comes from plants. It's extremely rare for a spider to feed in this way, and even though there are other omnivorous spiders, there are no other spiders that have such a herbivorous diet. This is a perfect example of an animal that refuses to obey the rules, and there are no other spiders like it. In many places around the world, rodents are mostly seen as pests, but they are very misunderstood creatures. Some rodents are true giants, and others play very important roles in their ecosystems. Most rodents are very intelligent and adaptable animals, and this is part of the reason why they can be found almost all over the globe. Some rodents will feed on pretty much anything and they take advantage of the food that we leave behind, and others have highly specialized diets. The grasshopper mice really do stand out from the crowd, as they are carnivorous rodents and they have a few behaviors and adaptations that are truly unique. There are 3 extant mice in the grasshopper mouse genus, and they are endemic to the United States and Mexico. They are mostly found in dry grassland and desert areas, and they usually target insects, spiders, scorpions, and even snakes. Scorpions and snakes are of course very dangerous animals to target, but thankfully grasshopper mice are immune to the venoms of many creatures in their area. It's said that they stalk their prey in a similar way to a cat, by sneaking up quietly before eventually striking. These rodents seem to have convinced themselves that they are actual apex predators, as they will howl like a wolf to defend their territory. They are not only aggressive when attacking their prey, as they will also attack other creatures when kept in captivity. There have been a few cases where grasshopper mice have been kept in captivity with other species of mice, and they have ended up killing the other species. They will even target bark scorpions, which are the most venomous scorpions in North America, and a sting from one of these creatures can easily floor an adult human. One of the most interesting things about these mice is that they don't look particularly different to other mice species, but they are among the most vicious rodents in the world. Most frogs are known for being carnivorous, whether they feed on insects, slugs, or even snakes. Their hunting strategy is famous around the world, but there is at least one frog that chooses to do things a little differently. In the state of Rio de Janeiro, you can find one colourful frog, and this frog is very fond of fruit. The fruit-eating Brazilian tree frog is usually a yellowish-brown colour, and it's often found around flowering plants. It will sometimes feed on small arthropods, but the majority of its diet is made up of fruits, seeds, and flowers. It has a few adaptations that allow it to feed in this way, such as an immunity to the toxins that are contained in the plants that it eats. This seems like a much more peaceful life than most other frog species, and it's surprising that no other frogs are adapted to feed in this way. Hopefully there will be more discoveries such as this in the future, as these rule-breaking animals are some of the most interesting members of their families. Of course, there are many other animals that could have made it into this video, so if you think you know of any, then let me know down in the comments below. But for now, thanks for watching, and until next time, goodbye.